Cash Global TV subscribe.
Global community, what's the deal? What we on? Today I got another compilation of non-mainstream, non-biased media, direct news I'm gonna give to y'all with no filter, no edit. Everybody got their own ideology, their own narrative. Let's put it together in the comments. One person will never know everything, but as a collective, we can figure it all out. Let's get to it. Drop them globes in the chat. Watch the whole video. And let's see if it makes sense. The world is a crazy place, I'll tell you that.
You peek inside. No one
Cash
at the
Global
wheel
TV
as it barrels down the
subscribe.
road. Massive freight trucks designed to drive all on their own.
We're talking about trucks that do not have any drivers doing operations on a daily basis across the nation.
Bottom Narang is CEO of Gatic, the first company to employ driverless freight trucks on U.S. public roads with no human safety driver in the cab. They're already hauling freight for major grocery chains and retailers in Texas, Arkansas, and Arizona. The goal? To increase deliveries and lower costs.
You and I, as end consumers, we want our orders as soon as possible, as cheap as possible. So our trucks are working day and night.
You say these trucks make things cheaper and faster, but for someone driving in a car to look up and see a big truck like this with no one behind the wheel, how is that safe?
Safety is foundational to everything that we do at Gatic.
We first showed you the technology in 2021.
I'm here in Arkansas for an exclusive look
When the company deployed smaller, self-driving trucks for Walmart, capable of driving up to 10 miles per route. Now, Gatic's trucks travel up to 400 miles, handling middle-mile deliveries between warehouses and stores completely autonomously. To see for ourselves, we got an exclusive ride-along with Apeksha Kamavat, Gatic's co-founder and chief engineer.
Here we go.
She says high-tech cameras and sensors give the truck a 360-degree view of its surroundings, guiding it safely through any situation on the road, day or night, rain or shine.
The truck sees all of that information in real time, creates an understanding of what the world looks like right now, how it will evolve.
I watched as the truck navigated highways and
Creator on here who believes he saw Jeffrey Epstein driving around South Florida. The video doesn't appear to be AI either, so a lot of people are wondering how is it possible for Jeffrey Epstein to be driving around if he's supposed to be. I'll tag the creator below if you want to see the original post, but check out the video and let me know what you think in the comments.
Epstein is alive. Epstein is alive.
Hey, hold on a second. I don't think most people realize just how serious was being closed and what's happening in other countries around the world, which many are thinking is about to happen in our country. Vietnam is urging people to work from home to save fuel as the Iran war disrupts supply. Bangladesh just shut down universities and limits fuel sale as Iran war continues to cause shortages. Oil prices in Japan have surged massively, and all throughout Asia, gasoline prices are surging. Thousands of flights have been canceled as the world faces the worst travel chaos since COVID-19. Because of what's going on in the Middle East. U.S. airlines are no longer hedging fuel costs. If this Hormuz shutdown continues, many of them can go out of business. Massive increases in fuel prices in Asia, Australia, and Europe. Ruwais Refinery, the United Arab Emirates' largest oil refinery, was shut down. Qatar's liquid natural gas refinery is also shut down, and it's the biggest in the country. And the biggest natural gas facility in the world is shut down right now in Qatar. Many people are wondering if we're about to have like stay home, save fuel type lockdowns around the corner. Because if this goes on much longer, there will be shockwaves and repercussions, maybe not even foreseen. So this is when I really wish we were using Nikola Tesla's technology and other technologies which may have been swept under the rug. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully this whole thing blows over, and follow from.
Heat doesn't just make you uncomfortable, it makes you violent. And science proves it. Studies show that when temperatures hit 90 degrees Fahrenheit, crime rates spike by 20%. Assaults increase, domestic violence also increases. Even road rage increases, and here is why. Extreme heat makes your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that controls impulse and decision making, work much slower. You're more irritable, less patient, more likely to snap. Your body is also under physical stress. You're dehydrated, your heart is racing, your cortisol levels are high, and you're in a constant state of fight or flight. Heat also disrupts sleep, and sleep deprivation makes aggression much worse. It's a vicious cycle, so if you feel angrier on hot days, you're experiencing a biological response to heat stress. So stay cool, stay hydrated, and give yourself grace. I'm meteorologist Ana Cristina Sanchez.
I went to Tesla with Elon and I went and visited the Optimus lab. There were a large number of people working on a Sunday at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And I saw Optimus 3. I can tell you now, nobody will remember that Tesla ever made a car. They will only remember the Optimus and that he is going to make 1 billion of those. And it is going to be the most transformative technology product ever made in the history of humanity. Because what LLMs are going to enable those products to do is understand the world and then do things in the world that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
I believe it'll be a 1-to-1 ratio of humans to Optimus, and I think he's already won.
Well, one side recommendation I have is don't worry about squirreling money away for retirement in 10 or 20 years. It won't matter.
Either we're not going to be here, or
it just you won't need to save for retirement. If any of the things that we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant.
Government is installing agentic AI-powered towers along both borders that decide who looks suspicious without a single human watching. According to Defense One, DHS is upgrading 148 surveillance towers with AI this year and adding 50 more, and that's just the start. Federal contracts show 542 new towers are in the pipeline, backed by $2.7 billion Congress already approved. The AI is trained to classify everything it sees, who you are, what you're carrying, where you're going, and it can independently dispatch drones to intercept you. 2,000 miles of AI, and no one has to be watching for you to be watched.
Fun fact of the day. The praying mantis is the only animal known to have just one ear.
Brain injury made this man see geometry everywhere, and he began drawing what he saw. His name is Jason Padgett. Before 2002, he was a furniture salesman who struggled with math. Then, he suffered a traumatic brain injury during an assault. And afterward, this is how he saw reality. It's called acquired savant syndrome. In rare cases, brain injuries can actually unlock hidden abilities. In Padgett's case, areas involved in visual processing and mathematical perception became hyperactive. And here's the craziest part. Scientists have even triggered temporary savant-like abilities by using magnetic stimulation to quiet parts of the brain, which indicates the brain might already contain abilities we rarely access. This whole series explores the brain, so stick around because it's stranger than fiction.
Study of 500,000 people found one simple thing that could cost you up to 20 years of your life. They compared walking pace, BMI, and strength to see what best predicted how long people would live. And walking speed beat all of them. Women who walked briskly lived to about 87 years, and men lived to about 86. But slow walkers told a different story. Women who walked slowly dropped to around 72, and men as low as 65. That's up to 15 years longer for women and 20 years longer for men. So why is that? Walking pace closely reflects your cardiorespiratory fitness, how well your heart and lungs are working. And slow walking is a known marker of frailty. In other words, how fast you walk may reveal how strong and resilient your body really is. So the next time you go for a walk, don't just stroll. Work on picking up the pace. And remember, brisk doesn't mean sprinting. The goal is zone 2, a pace where you can talk, but you can't sing. Follow me for more tips on how to live long.
Might be diamonds inside your cell phone very soon, but not the jewelry kind you're thinking of every time you send a text.
We're here talking about our ABCs in Africa and elementary. They're getting taught about Tartarian architecture and how their empire had an effect on the whole world society. But we still stuck on a curriculum from 1950.
Around in your phone. And about half of that energy is lost to heat. Your phone can do trillions of calculations per second, so to keep it from basically melting, engineers put in a material to quickly move that heat away. In your phone right now, it's probably copper, aluminum, or graphite. But the best material to move heat away the fastest would actually be diamond, because its tightly bound structure lets heat move quickly through vibrating atoms. But diamonds have been really expensive. And you can't even do this with natural diamonds. They often have impurities that act like roadblocks. But you could do it with a super pure diamond grown in a lab. And those are getting a lot cheaper really fast. If it works, it wouldn't look like this. It would probably look more like this. So one day, the phone you're watching this video on might have a diamond in it. But even crazier, they're thinking about diamonds for transistors. To learn more, follow along.
Jay-Z is allegedly going to be subpoenaed and questioned about the surrogate farms that he and Beyonce own in India, where they allegedly make over 6 figures a day. And the women are treated horribly. And now that Jay-Z has been mentioned in the Epstein files, he might have to answer a lot of questions under oath in public that he doesn't want to answer.
Fun fact about Friday the 13th. Do you know the maximum amount of Friday the 13th that can occur in one calendar year is 3? Do you know that the last time that happened was 2015? And it's happening this year in 2026. It happened in February. It's happening this month in March. And it'll happen again in November. And it will not occur again until 2037. It occurs 11 years apart. And it usually occurs during a leap year, or it occurs whenever a year happens to begin on a Thursday. The things that you didn't know that you didn't know. So whenever it comes to getting those Friday the 13th tattoos, you get 3 opportunities this year to do that. And you won't have another opportunity to do that again until 2037. So, here's mine. Go out and get them, man. You got 3 opportunities.
You will surprise yourself. So that means right now, to keep your confidence up, you have to brainwash yourself.
Here is the first convincing Bigfoot sighting of 2026. It was uploaded on January 10th, 2026 by the Squatch Watchers, and it was sent in to them by a viewer. They state, quote, "This trail camera footage shows what appears to be the closest thing to a Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot we've seen this day and age, as it walks across the screen and disappears into the thicket," end quote. Here it is closer up as well. Now the uploaders didn't state exactly where this was recorded, but it was somewhere in the US. And even though the footage is slightly blurry and fuzzy, we still get an amazing look at the supposed creature. It swings its arms as it walks and steps effortlessly through the forest floor. It really does look similar to the Patty film, which is the most famous and one of the most widely believed pieces of Bigfoot film if you didn't know. So to see some brand new evidence that looks similar to this is groundbreaking. Also, this one is much clearer than the Patty film. The reason this one is blurry though is because number 1, it was taken on a trail camera, which usually aren't the clearest, and number 2, they had to digitally zoom in to see it better, which decreases video quality as well. But despite this, we can see insane details. From its chest musculature to its domed large head, huge shoulders and upper body, and what looks to be muscle flexion as it walks.
Maybe the only thing that get me about Bigfoot, there is no over convincing information, but allegedly they're interdimensional beings and they see us before we see them. So, put y'all on.
To buy ad space on content creators' foreheads, a literal mark of the beast on people's foreheads for buying and selling. Now, to be fair, he's probably just joking, you know, playing around, as he did ask KSI how much an ad on his forehead would be. But for those that don't know what I'm referring to, in the book of Revelation of the Bible, it's written that during the end of times, and I quote, "The second beast caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that no one could buy or sell unless they had the mark, the name of the beast or the number of its name." Beast, rich and poor, mark on the forehead, buy and sell. Am I just schizo-posting again? Now I know Mr. Beast is well aware of the alleged conspiratorial allegations around his brand name and its connection to the beast in Revelation, which might just be a silly little online coincidence, but like, knowing that, why would he say this? Is he just trolling, you know, leaning into the conspiracy allegations for another viral moment? Is he somehow not aware of the connection here? Or, I don't know, maybe some form of karmic retribution? Because this is just an oddly specific thing to say, and the timing of it all is just too much to ignore. But hey, I'm sure it's nothing. Awareness purposes only.
For Mr. Beast to have methodically for over 10 years have this plan in motion, which I don't doubt that the system and the people that run the system do, that is insane. That's dedication. That's some next level chess move. That is the definition of the art of war, even though Sam Su is not a real person.
Your skin can start coming off in sheets. It can kill you within hours of consumption. It's from the excess of vitamin A.
Did a report yesterday that detailed I just literally did a random smattering of the things that AI makes possible currently, that these pattern recognition technologies make possible. So there are already systems, there's one deployed by the special forces that can identify your heartbeat from 200 yards out using a laser. And it turns out that your heartbeat is so distinct to you that it is in fact more accurate and more accurate over time than facial recognition. It's 98% accuracy. And you can't leave your heart at home. You can't cover it with a mask, right? There's no changing it. There's literally nothing you can do to avoid being identified in that way. There is also now technology that will triangulate your position using the Wi-Fi routers in your house. So this is another case in which it is technology infrastructure that you have installed and never realized you were installing this kind of technology that makes it possible for somebody to triangulate your position and create essentially a live video feed, a wireframe video feed of where you are in your house from a van sitting outside your house, no warrant required. There's a new technology that allows the use of Wi-Fi signals and extremely sensitive cameras to read lips through a mask. We would all agree, and in theory, in any speech, a politician would say that that's unacceptable. But again, there are no guidelines around that whatsoever. There are no democratic inputs around it whatsoever, and we're down to a world in which the PR strategy of a company and maybe the deeply held principles of one or two of its executives are all that stands between us and some really scary stuff.
Yeah, we follow them around, take pictures of them, that sort of thing.
We all? How many of you are there?
For Jeeve, I think there's maybe 50 or 60 of us.
60 of you are stalking this guy?
Just on the day shift.
One user asked, how about stock market price going up? Is that the same as winning the lottery in a dream? Well, the answer is no. They're quite a different dream. Stock market price going up says that's something that you've invested in. So this could be a project that you're working on, or a business you're trying to get off the ground, or a relationship, or anything. But something that's taken effort from you is now paying dividends, reaching almost like a point of momentum where it's just going to keep paying you from this point on. It's a very, very good dream.
Sal. This is not a play. This is real life, and you can get out. Justine, call me if you need me. Or my cane.
Please get the money.
Couldn't even sneak off somewhere.
Justina wasn't what it looked like.
There it goes.
We were rehearsing Joan of Arc.
I don't remember Joan of Arc kissing anybody. You show me in here where Joan of Arc kisses somebody, then we have no problem.
The question is, why did they change that? What you're looking at is the Cosby Show. In the original version, you see they're talking about Joan of Arc. In the streaming version, it's altered. My question is, why take that out? Why go through the trouble of something that's already pre-taped, pre-recorded, pre-edited? For what reason? Obviously, there's a reason for that, and the question is, how many things do they do that to? They're going to do it to the Cosby Show. You think they ain't going to do it to news? You think they're not going to do it to historical events? Why take the manpower? Why devote that energy to changing something as so simplistic as the Cosby Show? TL Cross caught this, and somebody sent it to me, and it's spot on. I have no idea why they would actually edit that and then put it out on streaming services. And how many things are like that? How many things that we see or we notice and we're like, or we call it the Mandela effect, or people call us nuts, or people say we're misremembering, and then they actually are changing things. It's bigger than the Cosby Show, for sure. Let me know if you caught any of these. Let me know if you get any other unusual suspects, because it's obviously happening. Out to the TL Cross, because spot on, great catch. Let me know what you think.
What I think a lot of people are missing about Iran is that it's not just some other Middle Eastern country. You don't understand how big of a deal this is. Iran is the most populous country that the US has ever attacked. During World War II, both Germany and Japan had about 70 million people, but today Iran has 93 million. That's more than the combined populations of Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, and Korea at the time of their US invasions. The only larger country the US has ever fought with directly was China during the Korean War, but the US never actually invaded Chinese territory. Iran is also the third largest country physically to ever be attacked by the US, with only Mexico and Libya being larger if you don't count the wartime gains of the Axis powers. Iran is also physically larger than Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, and Korea combined. And I'm not done. Iran is also the wealthiest country attacked by the US since World War II. With a GDP that topped out a couple of years ago at about $500 billion US, that's higher than every single country the US has had a major war with since World War II combined. Iran is a gigantic and developed country, and while nailing down exact GDP figures for countries during the world wars is tricky, Iran is definitely one of, if not the single most economically developed places that the US has ever attacked. As far as what this means for you, you shouldn't think of Iran as another Iraq or Serbia or even a Venezuela. No, it's much more accurate to think of it as being on par with a country like Mexico. But most US residents don't really think about Iran at all, it seems, considering that less than a third of them can correctly place it on a map. Thanks for watching.
Failure means I now have the opportunity to prove my resilience, which is the most important characteristic to have. Success means? Success means that you have to have higher objectives.
This is obviously about to sound fake right now, but China just turned on a machine that creates 1,900 times Earth's gravity underground. Did you even know that that existed? So these researchers in China just finished building something that shouldn't be possible. 50 feet underground, they installed a brand new $285 million machine that's called Chief 1900. This is a hypergravity centrifuge that generates forces 1,900 times stronger than Earth's gravity, and for context, your washing machine does too. It works like a giant spinning arm with a radius of about 20 feet. They load multi-ton scale models into it and they spin them at speed so intense that the machine had to be buried underground just to stop the vibrations from destroying everything around it. They had to build a custom vacuum cooling system because this thing generates so much heat that it would melt its own components. Now this is the crazy part and why it actually matters, because they can put a 10-foot model of a 1,000-foot dam on this machine and spin it. And whenever they spin it, they're able to watch decades of structural damage happen in just hours. Earthquakes, landslides, nuclear waste storage, they're compressing centuries of geological stress into days, and scientists are calling it a machine that compresses space and time. Okay. Meanwhile, all of this is happening. NASA is still trying to figure out how to get a rocket off the launch pad.
Florida will now be one of the first states in the nation to test air taxi.
That was another compilation we just went through. Not gonna lie, another mind blower as usual. We're gonna have to go over these things and retain this information. We're gonna have to go back over a few things if you wanna dive deeper into certain rabbit holes. And from now on, I'm gonna keep me a notebook. Send me anything you want me to divulge into or go over again. And we're gonna keep getting into this non-biased, mainstream, non-mainstream things that they don't want to see or hear, and go deep into it. Hey, yo, Paul. Appreciate y'all watching this as a family, Global Mafia. That being said, I am Cash. Capital K, $sign for the S.